Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you have been enjoying this fabulous sunshine. It's very un-Scottish like, but we've had gorgeous weather over the bank holiday weekend and it's carried on into the week. So hey, long may it last. Right, I'm going to do some crafting, but first I've got some cards that I want to show you. I'm just going to switch straight to the camera and explain what these are. My camera. Here we go. So it was my birthday at the start of the month, and I have now taken down my birthday cards, but I thought I would share. I realized that I hadn't shared them with you. I have got some handcrafted ones, but then I had these ones that I thought were quite funny. So hey Julie, yeah, it's too hot, definitely. So this was from my wonderful brother, who says nothing says happy birthday like a folded piece of card. Now you and I know that you can say happy birthday in lots of other fabulous ways when you have the right crafting goodies and inspiration, but yes, I thought that was quite funny. The other one I got from one of my friends, we'll be friends till we're old and grumpy. Wait, that's now, isn't it? I don't know what she means about the old part, but grumpy maybe on occasion. And then this one, happy birthday, Emma. 1 minute you're young, hip and cool, the next you're raving about your air fryer. I confess, I do rave an awful lot about my air fryer. It's a fabulous thing. But then I got some really beautiful birthday cards as well. So I thought I would share these with you. So first of all, this one, and you might be able to see the writing there says happy birthday. And it's got a strip of paper and a sticker. And this was handmade by my absolutely gorgeous niece. So I am so pleased. She has used yellow pen to do the writing on the inside. I think it's meant to be a gold pen, but hey, starting pretty good, I think. That's a beautiful handmade card from my niece Elise. This one is from one of my friends, Laura Rennie, who might join later on this evening. Sometimes she jumps on the lives. I thought this was really colourful. I just loved the gems and the flowers and the little sentiment in the middle. So I thought that was really pretty. Next up, Julie, who has already been here and said hello. So this was the birthday card that she made me with a beautifully sparkly glimmery bird, a little flower, and again the wee gems too, which is really cute. This card is really something special. I don't know if you can see the top part is actually shimmer paper, so there's a shimmer to it as well. This was from the lovely Karen, who again I think is joining later on this evening but said she was running late. She's used the For You framelets that are stamped up on dimensionals, the wreath that's embossed and coloured in as well, and then the little flowers. It went to a lot of effort to make a really beautiful card. So yes, I got some really, really beautiful birthday cards, and that was a selection of them. The next thing I wanted to show you is I took part in what's called a swap. So with some of my demo friends, I made a card and sent them out to one of my friends who collected them all up and sent them all back. And these were the cards that I got back. So this is one from Julia Eversden. And she's done, I think that's bronze or copper embossing on the balloons on the top. And then she stamped this element down here. But then look, the whole thing pops up and it's an easel card, but the balloons are separate and pop out. Isn't that really funky? So she's done a beautiful job in that. So that was the lovely Julia Eversden. Next up, we have this card here. So this is from my friend Jen Lindsay, and she's used the Waves of Inspiration. I love how she's kind of wrapped the ribbon along the bottom to look like waves. And then the circle sentiments at the top with the seashells. That seashell stamp really goes perfectly with the wave. And of course, there's some gems on there, some diamantes for some sparkle. Next up, this one was from the lovely Debbie Miodonsky, and she's used the Daisy stamp from the new catalogue, and these are some of the ink colours, so the wild wheat in the background and then the copper clay on the top with the designer series paper. I think it's beautiful. Next up we have from Karen Henderson, and it was Karen who organised the swap. I think this is really beautiful. So it's using the designer series papers, and she's layered it on top of a bit of the lemon lime twist, I'm pretty sure that is, and then the circle celebrations again there with the punches, which is really pretty. Next, we have the fabulous Debbie Prince, who again might join us later. And she's used the same daisy set as before, as the other lady, but with a totally different twist on it. I love how she's got Wink of Stella. I don't know if you can see the shimmer in the centre of the daisy there. Paired it with the ribbon and using the DSP as well, which is beautiful. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Heather, who has done this one, again using the new colours. So that's the new lemon, the lemon lolly, and I think that's the boho blue. And again with the circle celebrations, which has been a really popular one, used in a couple of different cards in this swap. And then finally, I kept one of my own cards that I swapped because I thought I would share it with you. And this was my card. So I did a long slimline card and I used the same cupcake that you've seen, but I stamped it onto the designer series paper and then cut round them. Didn't take long at all. And then I used my watercolour brush to just pick up the colour for the tops of the cupcakes and then brushed over some Wink of Stella to make it sparkle. And then use Diamantes along the top for some extra sparkle as well. And then that's the happy birthday stamp again from that stamp set, the Circle Celebrations. So cool. So what do you think? Did you like them? Hopefully you did. Tonight we are going to use the Countryside Corners stamp set and the coordinating dies. I have been sorting out all of my stamps. I've pulled off all my retired ones. I've just got all of my current stamps on my shelf. And I thought, you know what? I haven't inked this one up yet. I haven't given it a try. So let's do it. So I'm going to do that just now. This is a single stamp, so it's quite a large one. I'm just going to show you, and I might have shown you this before, but I'm going to show you again just how I mount my stamps. So I'm going to take the backing off. Now this one, if you look, the edge of the stamp there is right where the dots are, whereas there's a wider edge at the other side. So when I stick the sticker on, I want to try and line it up as close as I can. I'm not fussed about it being absolutely perfect because I am going to die cut these. I nearly did a very silly thing there. I nearly stuck it down that way. Don't stick it down that way. Stick it down this way. So I've peeled off half of the backing. I've left the other half on. And I'm just going to, not precisely, but just roughly, line that up and stick it down. There we go. So now I've got half of it on, and then I'm just going to peel off the other half and stick down my stamp. Ta-da! And there I have my stamp on. Now what I am going to do though is I'm just going to trim round that edge, because you see how I've got a little bit of the edge that's overhanging at that side because I put it right close up, but that's okay. It was all intentional. However, not having my scissors to hand was not intentional. One moment. That's the problem. I would say, you know, my craft room's a bomb site. It's not normally this bad, but everybody who's been to my house knows that it normally is quite bad. So, but right now I've got all my retired stamp set all over my table. I'm trying to work out a date that I can do a retired sale and do one of my bog off sales, which is a buy one get one free. If anybody would be interested in coming to a bog off sale, let me know. But I'm looking to see if I can get something like that arranged for June, maybe. If anybody would be interested, you can let me know. Haven't seen any comments. I'm going to assume that there are still people there and watching. You weren't all just really bored by me sharing all my birthday cards. All right. To stamp this, I could get one of my big ink blocks because I do have the large one that would cover it. But actually, I'm going to use my trusty Stamparatus. because I'm going to want to do this in a few different colours. So let's just have my Stamparatus to hand. I'm so gutted that the Stamparatus retired. I really am. I still have them for my classes, and I can still see me using them for a while yet. I will not be getting rid of my Stamparatus. Hey Shona, glad you're here. Right, let's put some grid paper down there. Am I going to do it along this side? I think I am. Right, so this is the Countryside Corners stamp set, and the suite that it comes with has matching designer series paper, or it's got designer series paper that it says coordinates with this stamp set. And it is beautiful paper. I've shown it to you before. Just going to have a quick flick round of it now. You see all these ones with the blues and the navies, little birds. These sort of patterns are the same patterns that you find on the stamp. So, I mean, there's some really lovely things here. I am not going to use the same colours as this suite. I will at some point, but I want to show you how you can do other things with this stamp. So, and I'm also at the same time going to show you off one of our new products. So just bear with me till I grab this. Right. Will they bring out a new Stamparatus? We don't know yet, Flora. I would love to say yes, but I know that there's a lot of competition in the market right now. There are other brands that are available, and some of the other brands can be quite litigious. So there's been court cases where other brands have felt that other people have breached copyright. Now, we know that the Stamparatus, or I believe the Stamparatus, has features that the other brands don't have. They do have different, well, for that reason, that's why I have this one and not the other ones. But there have been court cases, and as we know, Stampin' Up is an American company. They don't really, I mean, they really go mad with court cases over in the States, don't they? And if you consider the cost of pursuing some of these cases, there's maybe times where they think, do you know what, is it worth the time and money fighting these cases, or shall we just do something different? So I don't think there's going to be, one brought out in the foreseeable future, but I don't know, if I'm being perfectly honest. I know all of us who managed to get our hands on one are very glad that we did, but I can certainly sympathise with those who didn't. Right. So, I'm going to use my magnets. Yeah, sorry Flora. If I had known that this was going to be the situation we'd have ended up in, I would have nabbed some while I could. But unfortunately, that's not been the case. If I do hear of any that come up, then I will keep you in mind. Okay, what I want to do with this stamp set, so this is it, Countryside Corners. When I was looking at it, I thought you could do a cute rainbow with that. I thought you could do a rainbow in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in rainbow colours. And I want you guys to have a think. Do you think I should chop it in half this way? So if you consider that as the top and the bottom and that's left to right, do you think I should cut it along the middle from left to right? Or do you think I should cut it down the centre from top to bottom. So while I colour these in, you have a think and tell me which way you think I should go. While you guys are discussing and debating that, I'm going to just show you the colours that I'm using. I'm picking Real Red, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Azure Afternoon, Starry Sky, and Gorgeous Grape, because I think these are the nice rainbow ones. And yes, I decided to go down the purples and blues rather than stick an orange in. I think this is going to work. Oh, we've got 2 votes at the moment for middle. Right, I'm going to use these pens to colour directly onto my stamp. And just to show you with the pens, if it's got a thin line, then it's a thin nib. And if it's got a thick line, it's the thick nib. So it's the thick end I want to use. And you would think that when I was colouring in, I would start either from the outside in or the inside out, but I'm not. I'm going to start with yellow with my Daffodil Delight. And the reason that I'm doing it this way is that it's always best to start with your palest colour. So if I think about using my Daffodil Delight, and this is my brand new Daffodil Delight pen, I want to make sure that I'm inking up the whole area. If I already had red on the outside, and if I was to accidentally get some red on my yellow pen, that would maybe change my yellow pen a little bit red. I don't want that, especially not with a brand new pen. However, now that I've done that, I'm going to do my Granny Apple Green next. If I was to accidentally get some yellow onto the green, because it's a paler shade, it's not going to damage my green pen. I don't want to, because I want to keep my yellow yellow and my green green, but I do love Granny Apple Green. It's one of my favourites. Right, I'm working quite quickly on this because I don't want the pen to dry out. This is my Azure Afternoon. It's my paler of the blues. Azure Afternoon being one of the new colours, which I'm really liking actually. It's a lovely blue. It's a bit brighter than Pacific Point, which was that sort of blue that we had before. Starry Sky, one of our in colours. This is the last year we get these in colours. They're going to leave us next year, so making sure I make the most of it. My Gorgeous Grape in the middle. I do love Gorgeous Grape. Definitely a purpley shade kind of girl. My wedding invitations were using a purple shade, which is now sadly retired, but I do love that shade. Not forgetting my Real Red to finish off with. I am going quite quickly, but you don't need to absolutely burst the blood vessel on it. It will still stay coloured for a period of time. There we go. Right, the all-important huffing. And now let's put it down and see how this works. Let's see what people have said. Middle, left to right, cut along the middle. Yeah, everybody's going with the middle. I think that's going to look pretty. Let's see if this has worked. Cross your fingers, everyone. Yay! Got a little bit of red onto my yellow, but that's okay. I can live with that. Right. What do you think? Rainbow colours. I'm liking that. I'm liking that. Right, before I go any further, I am just going to clean my stamp. At least the Stampin' Scrub hasn't gone anywhere. I would be very, very, very disappointed if that was the case. Now, I'm doing this in rainbow colours. In the catalogue, they've used it in different shades of blue, but you can use it in any colours you want. I know one of Garance's favourite colours is green. I think this would be a really pretty stamp to use in different shades of green. You can see it in the catalogue in different shades of blue. I could see it in pinks as well, pinks and pastels and coral shades. I think that would all look quite pretty. Let's chop it up. Before I chop it, I am going to cut it out using the largest of the dies. So these dies all correspond to all the different shapes. So if you wanted to, you could actually cut out all the layers and have them as frames. You can make it as large or as small as you want. I'm going to cut it out with the largest one. Let's get my trusty cut and emboss. There we go. Line that up. Now, just a tip here, when you're using a die that's got a flat line like that, it will cut better if you put it slightly at an angle rather than having it completely flat onto the roller. It just gives it an even pressure across where you're cutting. So it doesn't need to be at a massive angle, but it will just help distribute the pressure when it goes through. So sometimes if you find things like envelope dies or outline dies, sometimes they're not cutting as nicely as you would like, try that. Try just slightly angling it as it goes through your machine, and that will make all the difference. Hey Margaret, glad you're here. Ooh, a sentiment in the centre. That is a good idea. Although we're going to chop this in half. So not on my rainbow version, but on another version, yes, we'll put a sentiment in the middle. Right, let's do it. Let's chop it up. So I'm thinking not completely in the middle. I'm thinking I'm going to do it slightly higher up. Let's see. The whole thing is 5 inches. I'm thinking I'm going to chop it. Well, that's 2.5. Do you know what? I'm going to take it down. I'm going to chop it at 3 inches. Here we go. If it doesn't work, I can always do another one. But look at that. I think that's quite a cool rainbow. And then for my other piece, you see, I could chop that as well and have another rainbow and then have like a little stripy bit in the middle. Or it could be a vase if you do it that way around. I could have stems and I could have flowers coming out of the top. Actually, it'd be nice that one of the narrow ones would make a nice vase, I think. But I'm just going to leave that piece for a minute. I have a card blank cut out and ready-ish. So let's put this down to one side. Get my trusty bone folder. Right. There we go. So one thing I just want to check, because I've got a cloud punch, let me see what the clouds look like at the bottom here. Here we go. So this is the cloud punch, and just having a look, I think, so this is the 2023 to 2025 luster specialty paper, because I was thinking the shimmer on that is really beautiful. What do we think? Do we think blue clouds? Or do we think put it on a blue background and then have white clouds? I think I'm tempted by a blue background, guys. What do you think? Ooh, oh. Right, I'm going to do something. We'll give it a try. You can tell me what you think. And then if it doesn't work, we can try something else. But if I take this down to this is such, yeah, the blue background. I think you're right, Flora. It's a lovely shade. such a lovely shimmer on that as well. Beautiful. Right. If I have the blue background, and then I have the rainbow. Now, I can punch clouds out and put them at the top, or I can actually just punch the clouds out here and then have the rainbow on the top, and then the white from behind would shine through. What do we think? Do we think having the white clouds shining through? So if there was like a cloud gap there and a cloud gap there? Or do we think it needs a cloud over the top? Decisions. Let me punch out a couple of white cards. Or actually, let's see if we've got anything more interesting to use than just plain white. So, what shades have I got? That's the thing, I've got all these gorgeous new papers that have just arrived in the catalogue. And as part of my paper share, I've got lots of different options. Any of them white? Those ones are coloured. What colour's that? So this has got white. Let's pull this one out. So this was actually the textured papers that we used at the retreat that we did last year. By the way, we've been looking at venues for this year's retreat. It's all getting very exciting. I think I've used up all the white. That's annoying. I will need to buy another pack of that. Pop that on my list. I do have an order that I'm getting ready to put in because there's lots of exciting things happening tomorrow. She says with much excitement. Let's see. We've got some specialty vellum. Do you think vellum clouds? Not the ones with the leaves. What's the other ones? The ones with the stripes. Ooh, dotty clouds. Right, let's give that a try. I think that could work. You see? That's really pretty. Let's try dotty clouds. If we put the blue shimmer background on, we put our rainbow, we put our dotty clouds on the bottom, like that, and then a sentiment. Are the clouds white enough? Let's do a bit of a white background to the clouds. Right, so that's the vellum on white, and that's the vellum just by itself. What do you think? Does it need the white behind it, or does that spoil the dots? Decisions. So tricky. While you lot are deciding that, I'm going to find a nice sentiment. What sentiment can we use for this? Let me see. One top and bottom and opposite corners in vellum. You like the vellum on? Right, one top and bottom on opposite corners in vellum. So, like this. The vellum on white, yeah. I'm thinking about, just while we're discussing where the clouds are going to go, I'm just thinking, so this stamp set here, Sending Smiles, because I've got a die that cuts out the sending, so I could do a fancy die cut word saying sending. Sending sunshine to brighten your day. That's what it's got to be, isn't it? Sentiment on the cloud. Ooh. Sending sunshine to brighten your day, stamped on the cloud. You guys are just too good. Do you know, we could have both vellum clouds and plain clouds. What about that? So have a selection of clouds. And then the sentiment along the bottom with the sending on top. Right, let me get the sending die. I love cards by collaboration, I really do. You guys are awesome. And I think a red sending. Do we think red on top of the blue would be nice? I'm going to go with red. Let's try this. Red or blue? I now can't decide. I was thinking red because there's not much red on the rainbow, but actually a blue sending and a darker blue in the background might be nicer. Give me your votes, red or blue? Got a vote here for blue. Now, the sending die, so I've got the script writing, which just says the word sending, but this die set also comes with the layer underneath. So I can do both. So I can do, you see, one has said blue, one has said red. I'm very tempted to do one of each so that we can try them out. Right. I'm going to do a starry sky background and I'm going to test with a red sending and a boho blue sending, because then that's going to match that boho blue there. Let me slice off some of these. How big do I need this to be? 4 centimeters. Let's cut this. Any more votes at the moment? We've got one of each. And then the background needs to be 4.5. Do the background first while you guys are deciding. Plus, because I had this idea while I was getting out my dies. Right, for intricate dies, what is it I always say? Don't forget your adhesive sheets. So if you use your adhesive sheets, it will make adhering these dies a million times easier. But then I was thinking, it's not just adhesive sheets. We've got the glue sheets. We've got the foam adhesive sheets as well. So I'm going to use this too. I've got this piece here that I'm going to chop up. So while I'm prepping all of this, and we will push this through. Let's see, where did my scissors go? Put them away. It's very unlike me. Everybody have a nice bank holiday weekend? Was it sunny where you were? It's definitely been sunny here. Just over so quickly. And then they made me come back to work. How selfish. Alright, got that prepped. Now let's do some of these. Just slice this. Why am I doing this with scissors? It's a whole lot easier to do with a trimmer. So when I'm cutting my adhesive sheets to go on, I'm not cutting it exactly the same dimensions as the piece of card that I've cut, because the die's not going to go right to the edges anyway. And as long as the majority of it is stuck down, then it'll be fine. So let's peel these off. There we go. That'll fit. Let's do the same for the other side. Honestly, guys, if you haven't invested in some adhesive sheets, I would highly recommend them. For these delicate dies and intricate dies, it really does make such a huge difference when you come to try and stick it down. So I know I talk about it a lot. The trickiest thing about using adhesive sheets is remembering to use them before you've put your die through. But one of your tips for that is, in with your dies, put a piece of adhesive sheets, and then that will act as a reminder. Okay, so let's do that one first. Let's do the red. Crank that through. When I first used the foam adhesive sheets, I thought, oh, is it just completely going to flatten it? Will it still be nice and 3D? And it is. It's remarkably good. What I haven't tried, though, is doing it at the same time as I'm trying to do normal die cutting. But do you know what? It worked. I was not sure that was going to work, but it did. Right. Let's peel that out, put that to one side. This, again, has worked. Put that to one side. Let's just do the other blue one. Now again, when you're doing your dies, see there, I had a tiny little bit dot. See that little red dot that's in there? Just going to make sure I pop that out, because little things like that make all the difference with your dies, getting a nice clean impression, making sure that it's cut all the way through. Let's crank that round. This is a lovely die set, the Sending Love dies. Not new in this catalogue, we had it in the previous catalogue, but still one definitely worth having a look at. Pock out these extra bits. If I had just cut it from the card, these bits would just fall out straight away. I wouldn't need to poke them out. As you can see, it doesn't need effort. They're literally just falling out. But it's because I've got the extra layer in terms of the adhesive sheets. That's why these just need a little bit of extra just to get them out. There we go. Pop these bits out. Real red is a lovely colour. I was going back through some of my Christmas designs at the weekend. And I do love real red as a Christmassy red. But then I also love cherry cobbler and sweet sorbet and poppy parade. What can I say? I love the reds. They're very functional. You can use them really well. Right. So now I've got my, pulled off the backing there. I'm just going to stick that back on while I do some positioning. And you can see, by the way, I haven't got foam right to the edges of all of that, but that doesn't matter because it's still going to stay up. It's still going to look good. So I've got the blue on blue, like that. Let's get my card back over. So a variety of clouds, and I'm thinking I am going to use multiple clouds rather than just the vellum or just the white. If you've got any arguments about that, then speak now or forever hold your wished. So our first option is the blue on there, blue and blue, or just to make it pop that little bit more, the blue and the red. What do we think? I don't know. You see, I like just the red on its own, but I think if I'm going to use the starry sky background, it goes best with the boho blue sending. What I could do is I could use the other piece that I did and just put the red sending on that. A couple more votes, blue on blue. Yeah. I think so too. But that red piece that I've cut out, I'm going to use that for the other rainbow. Let's just, why am I trying to poke that off with that? That's daft, Emma. Right. See, and wait till you see now, using these adhesive sheets just makes sticking this down so easy. Just line it up where I want it to be, start it off, and then just put it in place. Imagine trying to do this with wet glue. You'd be there all day. You'd be moving and sliding and slipping everywhere. Just going to press it down from the other side. There we go. Sending. Love that. Alright, let's start sticking all this down. Where's my trusty Tombow? This boho blue shimmer paper is just so beautiful. It's so sparkly, so shiny. I think I have picked up an empty Tombow. For those of you who craft with me, you know I've got like a tub of Tombows that I refuse to accept are done. I'm now accepting that this one's done. I will go and get another Tombow. One moment. And for those who haven't been here, you're very welcome, by the way. But yeah, this is my tub of Tombos. So when Tombos start to run down, I hold them upside down in this tub. Yeah, you see, I can get loads more out. I don't know if it's the Scot in me. I just refuse to accept that something is actually done. Right. Let's put that on there. Okay, so clouds next. Put them across my blue sky like that. And then my rainbow at a jaunty angle. I think that's going to go nicest. Let's put the clouds on first. Now, for the clouds of the vellum, I'm gonna do it on here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put tiny little dots of Tombow behind the dots on the vellum, because then when it sticks down, you won't see the glue. She says hopefully and optimistically. Let me put that on, see how that looks. Hey! Look at that! That worked. Not surprised at all. Totally knew that was going to happen. It is easier to see if you have it on the coloured background. Let's put that cloud down there. There we go. Right. So if that's going on there, I think our rainbow needs to go flat on the ground rather than on dimensionals, because our sending's on dimensionals and it's going to go on top. It's one of the reasons why I don't stick down all the elements at the start. I wait to see how a card evolves and then change it accordingly. Right. Let's pull off the backing. And then to finish, we need this one, Sunshine to Brighten Your Day. At the moment, I'm thinking probably do that in the starry sky, so in that dark navy to correspond to the darker blue there, just to correspond with the blue that I've got. Let's just use the Stamparatus again. And for quickness sake, I'm just going to use the same pen as I used earlier. Don't forget the magical huff. Let's put that along the bottom. Sunshine to brighten your day. I will clean that in a minute. This. There we go. I'm going to cut that a little bit long just for just now, because I was thinking of doing it in a little flag at the bottom, but actually I'm thinking I might just cut all these words up. So stick with me, I haven't gone totally crazy. Sunshine to brighten your day. Now, and then let's just do this flat. Excuse me. Hey Karen, glad you're here. Sending sunshine to, should really use tweezers for this, shouldn't I? Sunshine to brighten your day. There we go. What do we think? Do we like it? So that's a different take on the countryside corners. Ooh, yeah, there's the actual stamp. But the countryside corners stamp, which is a single stamp, to get all of those different patterns. Colouring it in with the pens to give a rainbow effect, and then using the Sending Love dies and the Sending Smile stamp set, sending sunshine to brighten your day. Right, having done that card, and because I've got the red sending that we didn't use, I have come up with a cunning plan. So I have got here one of our envelopes and notelets. Notelets and envelopes. So, and my plan for this, right, let's trim this off as well like we did before. Just going to trim it to the 2.5, actually. I'm going to trim this one smaller. I'm going to trim this, oh no, it was 2. Oh, I don't know anymore. Trimming it to 2, then I've got that bit in the middle that I can use for something else. But was that the same size? It was 2 inches. 2 inches is the optimum size for this. So this one, and I'm going to put more sending this time, because I've got this strip of blue, or where's my shimmer? Let's use more of the shimmer. Let's do some blue clouds this time, just for variety. I have a plan in case you think I've gone mad. Okay, many of you know that I did go mad, but that's not to say that this plan won't still work. Alright. Yep. So I'm going to dot the blue clouds all the way along. I'm going to put that on there, and then we're going to do, right, it's a work in progress, stick with me. I know what this is going to look like. This shimmer is so beautiful, I really love it. Okay, I'm going to have these clouds just slightly going off the edge of the paper. I don't know what it is about backgrounds, but they just somehow seem more real if they're not perfectly on the page. So let's put that one along the bottom, and this one can go there. So like that at the moment, but now I'm going to turn it over. It's always easier to trim for the reverse. Let's just slice these with my scissors, my trimmer. You know what, I should just be stuck with using my scissors. Alright, one moment. I'm going to go back to using my scissors. Trim along the bottom, just tidy that up. Tidy off that bit as well that I've trimmed. And trim along the top as well. Let's just there we go. So now I've got my reverse sky background, blue clouds on white background. I'm going to stick on, and I think this time I'm going to stick the sending down completely flat over the top of the rainbow, and I'm going to put the rainbow up on foam pads for this one. Am I using that? Should be using this. Right, remember how I put these adhesive sheets on in 2 strips? That means that now, instead of all peeling off in one long bit, I'm having to peel off all the little bits. So this might take a while. The bottom one will come off in a winner, if I'm lucky. There we go. Oh, not quite. That's okay. Just, you know, talk amongst yourselves. For all that this takes time to peel off, it's still easier than going over with glue and trying to get it onto all these bits, or dealing with big smudges of glue afterwards from the other side. Just makes life easier. Let's put my sending on the top of my rainbow. Let's use more foam. Go. And then we're going to use that same stamp. I'm just going to clean off quickly. But this time I'm just going to colour in the word sunshine. And then punch it out with the cloud. But what I'm going to do is just going to trim round the cloud to make it just that little bit smaller. I'm doing this by eye, but you could just as easily use a pencil just to draw around an outline, because then it's easy to know when you started, where you started, and therefore where you need to finish. There we go. Then I can put sending sunshine just at the bottom there, like that. At the bottom there, in the middle on foam pads. That's what it's going to be. Actually, before I stick that down, where's my boho blue pen? I'm just going to edge this. Just with a pen to give it a tiny outline. There we go. So this has turned into a bit of a twofer, you know? 2 cards for the price of 1. Oh, little bits there. So I've got my first one here with the vellum spotty clouds and the white clouds, sending sunshine to brighten your day. And then the little mini one, sending sunshine. Now, I have decided that because I've done a big card and the little card's in a notelet like this, and the clue's in the name here, sending sunshine. I make a lot of cards and I don't send as many as I should. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these cards to somebody who's watching. Now, here's the deal. What's going to happen is I'm going to send this card with this card inside it. I'm even going to put a stamp on the envelope. And if you want to take part in this challenge, I want you to put your name down and send me your address by private message if I don't already have it. What I'll do is I will send you this card and you get to keep this one, but I'm going to send you the other card inside and I want you to post that to somebody else and brighten their day. I'm going to give you a stamp on the envelope, but I want you to send sunshine to somebody else. So only put your name down if you're prepared to do that. And if you are, I will send you both of these cards, the first one for you to keep, the second one for you to send on to somebody else. Okay, so that's the challenge. If you're interested in that, then comment below. For people watching on replay, you guys can take part in this as well. And if you're watching on YouTube, if you come to my Facebook page, Craft with Emma, and comment there and make sure that I have your address, I will pick one lucky person to receive these cards in the post. There we go. All right, so let's call that a night for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the cards this evening. I hope it's given you some other ideas on what you can do with that beautiful Countryside Corner stamp. If you do make any cards yourself using that stamp, I'd love to see them. And if you are interested in receiving this card in the post, then just drop me a wee note with your address and I will pick one lucky person out of the hat to receive them. All right. Have a fabulous evening, guys. Take care and I'll see you next week. Bye.